Hi, my name is Gabe Arnold. I'm the founder and CEO of Business Marketing Engine, or BME for short. Today, I want to share with you how to build $1 billion per year company without working yourself to death. We're going to talk about that today. And I'm just going to share with you what I am learning along the way because I've made investment, I've taken steps, I have a process that is guiding me to ultimately having $1 billion a year company. And so I want to share with you what my process is like, the steps I'm taking to get there, and how you can apply the same system to your company, regardless of what your big, years down the road goal may be. So stay tuned and I'll share this with you. So I thought a little bit about if I was going to do this episode or not, but I decided to, and I'm going to kind of explain why and give you just some transparent kind of, access to how I got to this point. The first thing is I do not have $1 billion per year company yet. But I do have a documented plan of how I'm going to get there between now and 20 years from now. And generally speaking, we talk a lot about on the show here how to set goals and how to break them down and how to make it a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual approach. And I definitely recommend that you do that and that you find the system that works for you. But at the same time, I think it is important and valuable to have long-term big goals that we want to hit. And so I'm going to talk to you about how I think about those things and how we get there over time. So the first thing that to do when you want to build $1 billion per year company is make sure that you're using a proven growth system. The first thing I did to invest in that is a friend of mine runs a company called Simple Operations, and you can check them out at simpleoperations.com. My friend Alex Charfin founded that company and runs that company with his wife, and they have helped multiple people break 7 figures, 8 figures, and people break even 9 figures and beyond. And you need to have a process and a system in place in order to achieve these huge goals. And so I invested in that almost, let's see here, a year and a half ago or so. And for me, that was the missing piece so that I have the methodology and actual tools and processes to do what I'm going to tell you how to do here next. Because with outside accountability, with a proven system, that is what helps us really achieve our goals over time. So inside of that system, same system I would encourage you to use, is a process where you set one main target, one main goal for the year, and then you break that goal down into quarterly steps, monthly steps, and weekly steps. And each quarter, you plan ahead for the next quarter, you adjust the steps you're going to take to get to your goal for the year. And then, you make those revisions and adjustments, and then you're back into that weekly, cadence of setting the steps and achieving the steps that are going to help you achieve the quarterly goal, then achieving your quarterly goals that help you achieve your annual goals. That's really the most simple way you can reach any level of revenue that you want to get to, is by breaking down yearly big targets into small bite-sized steps. The other thing that I think is important to think about is really taking time to evaluate throughout that process and say, what's working really well for me right now and what's not working, what's ineffective. And by having that habit and routine of evaluating things, you can say, great, these things continue to work well and we're getting results, so let's invest more time and resources there. These things we tested or we tried or we thought would work, they didn't, so let's cut them out. Let's not pretend that they're working. That's one of the things that I've fallen into in the past, where I'm like, we'll just give it more time, or I'm just going to keep pushing on something. There are times to do that, but there are also times, probably an equal amount or maybe even more, where I have to say, this isn't working the way we expected it to, so we need to change course. And instead of letting your ego stay stuck in the past where you were sure this was the right idea and you were sure you were right, let go of that and just truly look at objective data and make the decision to, move forward and adjust the plan and eliminate things that aren't working. The third thing that will be a huge part of you scaling to, 8, 9, 10 figures and beyond is to ultimately look at how can you acquire customers in a really rapid manner. And so the fastest way to acquire customers when you are at the stage that, Warren's taking this step is to buy other companies. And I didn't really realize this until a couple of years ago when I went through a training that taught, everyone how to acquire small companies and larger companies, the process that you go through. And I decided to invest my time and money into that training because I knew that in a matter of just a year or two, our company was going to be in a position where the faster way to grow would be to acquire companies and aggregate customers that way. And so those are things that you can really think through and consider as you want to hit whatever level of revenue you want to hit. If you have that $1 billion goal, then this is the same process. If you want to get to $500,000 a year, this is the same process. If you want to get to $5 million a year, same process, right? Invest in a growth system so you're not trying to do this on your own or just rely on your own experience, and really invest in something that's going to help. The second thing is, set your huge goal for down the road, but just have that more in the background, and then focus on year over year hitting your growth targets. And by hitting those annual growth targets, we do that by having a quarterly plan, a monthly plan, and a weekly plan. And then ultimately, when you're in the right season, you can take time to buy other companies or buy pieces of companies or buy assets that will help you reach your growth goals and help you continue to achieve your potential. For me, those are the steps I take. And so I have a spreadsheet and a plan that says this is the $1 billion plan, and it shows me exactly how much revenue needs to grow each year. And again, I keep that more in the background. It's actually something that I mainly look at myself. I don't want to overwhelm my team. I don't want to focus on things that are too far out. But as I review that on a yearly basis, I know where I need to be revenue wise. And it was really rewarding in the last couple of weeks as I was wrapping up 2022 to take a look at that and say, man, we're within a few percentage points of the growth level that I wanted to be at for this year. So how do I keep pushing, and how do I keep achieving that growth year over year is my challenge and my job as a CEO here. So regardless of what role you have in your company, regardless of if you're starting out or you're farther down the road, I would encourage you to think bigger and really dream and figure out where you ultimately want to be. And then remember, when you use a growth system, when you have annual targets, when you have quarterly plans, when you have monthly goals and weekly steps that you're going to take to achieve those goals, that incremental growth over time is truly the way to achieving the next level and ultimately growing $1 billion or more per year company. I hope this has been helpful for you. I'd love to hear about your goals for this year. If you want to comment down below with what your big goals are, I'd love to hear about that. I appreciate you taking time to tune in today. And if you need anything, reach out to us at businessmarketingengine.com or shoot me a message. I'll be glad to help. We'll see you on tomorrow's show.